in my office!
Capcom's senior producer Morgan Gray recently snuck past Vicious Dogs to get into Zadzooks headquarters and walk me through some of the sci-fi third-person action shooter Dark Void. So, Mr. Gray, the game looks great, but show me how to take down one of those pesky reptilian watcher-driven Archon tanks.
I'm going to pick up one of the experimental Tesla weapons. This is called the Hypercoil. It's sort of a handheld Tesla coil, which is a mixture of sort of electrical-based flamethrower and a tool. I'm actually going to use it as a tool. In this case, I'm going to power up the anti-grav generators with this, trying to get the Ark to set sail before the Watchers can finish what they started. There's a few more UFOs. I think I'm going to try to clear the skies just a little bit to make things somewhat easier. I'd hate to die on camera and be mocked at by the guys back home for not being able to play our own game. But I assure anyone watching this, playing and talking at the same time is not the easiest thing on the planet. So, there's my sad sob story. I'm coming back out here. With a button press, I go from flying into hover. The control schemes between flight and ground and hover are pretty much identical, so what looks like it could be very complicated is really, really simple to play. And a lot of the sort of showmanship that Will is doing every time I kick the jets with the flailing and whatever is just that. It's just to help sell the fantasy. We wanted to make sure the controls were extremely tight and responsive, because you can't have an action romp with loosey-goosey controls. So one more anti-grav generator here. She's powered up. Sadly, the Watchers have hurt the docking clamps. They're not going to automatically go, so why have a button for what you can shoot in typical video game logic? So I got to break it free from these mooring clamps. A little bit of brake action on the jetpacks will work. Hopefully I don't hit the brakes. There we go. Must avoid falling things. But you can see that even in the flight thing, and I know flight's not the easiest for many people, we're very forgiving. You can take headers into the wall, we just bounce you off. You can probably do 2 or 3 bounces before we ultimately, kill you. So what we're trying to do is make the combat intense and make sort of the sensation visceral, but make the difficulty for the sort of brainless stupid things really simple, so that you encourage you to play a little more aggressive. If watching someone play Dark Void going from cover piece to cover piece and slow and plotting, it's cool if you want to play that way, but we, again, want to have this action romp, so full force, full speed, that's what we're shooting for. So the Ark is broken free of its mooring clamps. It's going to launch, and the Watchers have one more trick up their sleeve, so they're going to send in these things we call Archons. They're effectively like a Watcher mini-tank. When you first encounter one of these guys, it's sort of a boss encounter. At this point in the game, they're more dime or dozen, because we've made our bosses bigger and deadlier. But I'm going to show you this guy sort of in a boss-like attack pattern to sort of give you a sense of scale and appreciation. So flying is weird, right? Because it changes scale, and it changes depth and sensation of speed. So I'm going to get down here on the ground next to this guy, and you can get a good understanding of just how big he is in comparison to Will. And I'm going to fly away for safety's sake. Again, there's no health in Dark Void. It's recharge health, so you don't have to carry health power-ups. If you're going to fight him like a boss, the idea here is, in typical game fashion, if it's red or orange, it means bad, which is ironic, because in the real world, red or orange means sort of safety, or, right, your safety vest. But here it means shoot it. So we're going to hit the joints while avoiding its AA fire to the best of our ability. When we get a little bit hazy here, we just fly away. I can also use my jetpack guns to work these angles here. I just like using the Liberator because, I don't know, electric weapons are fun, but I like bullets. So, my mother is so proud. Okay, one last joint to do. That's going to put him in a stun state. Then I can fly out here and make my way up. The idea here in the boss way, when you first encounter it, is you're trying to get to the pilot because you don't have the heavy enough firepower just to take it on outright. So we entered into a little quick time moment, what I like to call the Dragon's Lair moment, because I'm old school in my video game playing, or Space Ace. Space Ace is probably more apt, I think, for Dark Void. This cool thing about our quick time events is the game world in the background is still simulating, so you get a lot of like emergent random things, explosions that happen, buddies that get off lucky shots. Pilot's going to try to shake me. I'm basically trying to force this cockpit open to get access to the pilot. And he is going to be as evil and mean as possible to try to stop me from doing this. Ah, got him in time. So he comes out enraged. As I said, there is a juicy alien center in everything. Fortunately for us, Will is more than up to the fight, and he's taken out that guy. You'll fight those guys in other vehicle forms and even on foot. And like that, that's how the Archon goes. Now again, this point in the game, Will, fortunately he has a great friend in Tesla, could use some of his higher firepower and just sort of rip into these guys with, your own handheld Tesla coil, which, easy peasy, is all it takes at this point in the game because we up the ante. But it's combining this in-air dogfighting, the on-foot, the freedom to take off at a moment's notice and use maneuverability in the terrain to your tactical advantage. It's coming out on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC January 19th out here in America, and hopefully people will check it out and get a fresh new experience. Thanks.
That's it for this week's episode of Zadzooks Video Game Minute. Thanks for watching and playing. I'm Joseph Zadkowski.
The Lincoln Doodle.